Hello BookTube, my name is Darcy, I'm 22 and I'm from Melbourne, and this is my October wrap-up, all of the books that I read in the month of October. Today I'm joined with my brother, Jesse. So the first half of October I was on an absolute roll. I just slammed out 4 books. I just read 4 books. It was incredible. And then I read nothing for the final 2 weeks, which was weird. And November has kind of followed the same pattern of me not being able to read anything, which is very annoying. Anyway, first book I read in October is Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo, which is the second book in the Grisha trilogy. For those of you who don't know what the Grisha trilogy is, this is the same author of Six of Crows, which I am sure you have heard about because everyone talks about Six of Crows. Second book, thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. This is going in a direction that I didn't think it would be going in. I'm really liking how the character relationships are becoming problematic, which sounds like I'm happy that it's ending, but it's not that. It's it makes sense. I hate it when 2 characters start to fall out of love and it doesn't make sense. For example, Throne of Glass. But I am finding, okay, spoilery, like for 20 seconds I'm just going to say a spoiler, so just skip 20 seconds ahead if you don't want to be spoiled. I'm finding the killing of the animals problematic. I think there is going to be, my prediction for the final book in the trilogy is that, and I know it's already out, but is that there will be a consequence for killing these creatures for her power. I think I wouldn't be happy with the ending of the series if there wasn't a consequence, because I think that's an awful message, that you can kill these beautiful, majestic creatures and be okay with that, all for your own selfish benefit. All in all, I thoroughly enjoyed this. Everyone seems to enjoy Six of Crows far more than the Grisha trilogy, so I have been pleasantly surprised whilst reading these books. Secondly, I read Finding Audrey by Sophie Kinsella. Finding Audrey tells the story of Audrey, who is 14 years old, and she has social anxiety because of her past and circumstances, and I found it brilliant. It was hilarious. It had me just laughing out loud, and then 3 pages later I'd be crying. I found it really depicted a mother-daughter relationship quite well. I experienced something similar, not social anxiety, but similar kind of relationship issues with my mum when I was that age as well, where one minute I would be, yeah, he remembers, one minute I would be thinking that she's the worst human who ever lived, but then you do have these moments of realizing how much they have sacrificed for you. I thought it depicted mental illness in a really good way, and what was interesting is I really related to kind of how other people react about mental illness. So yes, it was about her and her own illness that she was facing. It was really interesting to see the way it impacted those around her. I just found it wonderful. I think it is a delightful read for anybody of any age. I think it was such a good book. I obviously gave it 5 stars. Then next up I read A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, and this has been a long time coming. This is a children's book designed for children. It tells the story of Connor, and his mother is quite sick, and it's just, it's one of those, I went in completely blind, like not knowing anything, and I'm so glad. So all I can say is that it was incredibly moving. Everyone should read this. It was just so good. I started my month out right in October. It was just like good book after good book after good book. So I would highly recommend this to anybody. I'm sure many, many people have read this. In fact, I know many people have read this. I don't know why it's taken me so long. You should read this.
All right.
It'll take you like 2 days max. Yeah, maybe not 20 minutes, Jess. So I was feeling like, yes, I'm on a good book roll. Time to pick up Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. For those of you who don't know, Empire of Storms is the 6th book in the Throne of Glass series. I say 6th because I count Assassin's Blade. I know it's a prequel and not necessary, but I think it is. Assassin's Blade, if you want to thoroughly enjoy the Throne of Glass world, you need to read Assassin's Blade. And in my opinion, it's one of her best in the entire series. I was incredibly looking forward to reading Empire of Storms. I had quite a few issues with Queen of Shadows, and so I was hoping that Empire of Storms would be the one to bring me back in love with the series that I originally fell in love with. And it was just pretty awful, in my opinion. It's not young adult. It is erotica. every second scene was a sex scene, and not only that, they were like the most dramatic sex scenes that I have ever read. It took it to a whole new level. Like, I know Sarah J Maas loves romance, and I love romance too, but there's a very big difference between Court of Mist and Fury and Empire of Storms. Aelin is a character I now detest. I detest her, and you don't want to hate the lead character. That's when you know you're in a bit of a pickle. Yeah. And when everyone kept mentioning where Chaol is, blah, 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 he never appeared, and that just made me really upset because Chaol is, in my opinion, one of the most interesting characters of the whole thing. I loved all the side characters. I loved Lorcan. I loved Alid. I love Lysandra. I love Manon. Hated what happened with her and hated it because it's just not, I feel, how either of them would behave. Just like, it was just weird. I'm not even tempted to read the last one. I don't really care how it turns out, which is awful. It's awful. It's awful that I feel that way. But I'm gonna pretend that it goes Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight. That's it. I mean, I think about the most perfect series of all time, which is Harry Potter. And I think of Harry's character in, you know, Philosopher's Stone, and then I think of it in Deathly Hallows. And whilst he has grown and developed and, you know, he has changed, he hasn't done a 180. No characters have done a 180. Every single character in the Harry Potter series that you see throughout the 7 years remains true to who they are. And Sarah J Maas's characters have not done that. So, yeah. Oh, you're leaving. Bye. So in terms of the books I want to read in November, I had a really slow start to the month, and I have just really started getting into The Silkworm by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling, which is the second book in the Cormoran Strike series, and it's incredible, it's fantastic, it's wonderful, I love it. It has gotten me out of the reading slump, which is magnificent. The next book that I'm hoping to read is Gemena by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, which is the second book in the Illuminae files. This just came out, I think last month. I think it came out within the last month. It's heavy, but Illuminae looked this big as well, and then I flew through it within the day, so I reckon I'll get this done, and I really enjoyed Illuminae, so I am thoroughly looking forward to this. And the final book that I want to read in November, we're already halfway through, so I don't know whether I'm going to get to it, but is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, which is the sequel to Six of Crows, and this is a duology, so it's going to finish it up. So I am going with popular picks this month, and I definitely went with popular choices last month, so I'm hoping in December to kind of read some more less young adulty, I guess less well-known stuff, and definitely more Australian stuff. I have some Australian fiction on my bookshelf that I have been hoping to get to. December is a month that I love reading Australian because I love Australia so much. So that's all from me. Oh, tonight I am seeing Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the advanced screening. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm seeing it at 9 p.m. tonight with my brother and sister and dad and my sister's boyfriend. I am so excited. I am so excited. I live for Harry Potter. The journey goes on. I love that Fantastic Beasts currently has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes because all the critics are like, it's just perfect. It's just perfect. And, but what will I wear? Whatever. So I will maybe make a video like talking about my feelings about Fantastic Beasts because it just makes me so happy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have had a wonderful month and have a lovely day.